Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This dude is giving it his all in the national anthem. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. It's quite a long national anthem, actually. So I don't know why, I thought Kyle Larson was in this race. So I went and found my Kyle Larson hat. I had Hocevar on. But Chase Elliott's in the race. I'll throw on my Chase Elliott hat. And if it looks like Hocevar is going to win, we'll just switch hats. But I'm really interested to see how Chase Elliott's going to do today, because the short tracks were one of his best track types in the Gen 6 car. Not so much with the Gen 7. So maybe if he gets enough laps, and I'm not sure what kind of equipment they brought today for that 17, maybe Chase can get up there and dice it up. We have a stout field. Carson Hocevar, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, all starting in the top 10. SVG's in the field as well. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. Boop. No, that one. SVG in the field. Ryan Newman in the field as our Ram All-Star driver. And Frankie starting from behind today, but we have a full truck field. 250 laps at North Wilkesboro for the Faith Fest 250. It should be fun. Good to see you, Christian and Stacy, and Rusty was in here as well. Good to see you guys. Just waiting on this race to get the command to go green. Let's see if we can check in for today's race. All right, the live leaderboard is up on NASCAR.com if you're a member of the NASCAR Fan Rewards program. Now would be a great time to check in for today's race. Great program to be a part of. That's today's race, the Faith Fest 250, Jesus is Lord, presented by Mercer Transportation. Purse, $789,000. And this is broadcast by NRN, NASCAR Radio Network. I'd never heard of NRN before this year. You know, it's PRN and MRN. Now we have NRN. Fuel window, 123 laps. So, perhaps no green flag stops. Now, I'm not sure how tires are going to hold up. That could get iffy. It could get iffy. Good look at J-Ski. No, that's me. Let's get rid of that one. Mother Nature doesn't like your singing? Did a bolt of lightning hit your house? Let's look at the radar. I don't think it's supposed to rain today near the track. Let's just make sure. Yeah, it looks pretty clear out there. North Wilkesboro Speedway, 381 Speedway Lane. All right, there's the track. That over a little bit. Oh, do we have wet weather tires for the trucks? Oh, hopefully it has a north movement. Okay, it's just kind of meandering, honestly. Get a little north, a little west, a little north, a little west. So this might just steer clear of the track, but you can see behind Ryan Newman on TV some big clouds behind him. So I was looking at this view, really zoomed out, and I was like, oh yeah, it looks pretty clear. It spawns us here right above the track. So I'm like, okay, clear. Zoom out. Oh dear. Interesting. Is it on rain delay? No rain delay. The race has not started yet. We're just waiting on the command for drivers to start their engines. We already had the national anthem, but Ryan Newman, I don't know if they already taped this. I'm guessing they probably already taped this. Yeah, drivers are in their cars. They're sealing up the window nets right now. And we should get the call to start the engines probably right before our next commercial break. So, what's your guys' favorite superhero? Mine is not Spider-Man. I've never met the guy. What's your favorite number? Speaking of 911, there were actually 5 cops outside my apartment earlier. No idea why. I'm guessing probably serving a warrant or something. I like Cups here says he's been busy on iRacing. Let's go Majeski and Friesen. Majeski had a bad week last week, and someone shared a graph of Majeski's finishes this year, and it's like a great finish or bad finish, a great finish or bad finish, and it's back and forth. So this week, he should have a good finish. It'd be wild if he won the race. That was a pretty good command. That was not me. So it was actually wild seeing some of the reactions to that. Some people thought it was very risky. My intentions was to maybe allude to it being, you know, like a Tuesday, not a specific Tuesday. I wasn't going to mention it though any further. But then there were some probing questions that led me further down that path. But again, nothing risky was said or done. And I thought I cropped it well enough, like, and it was cropped pretty well. But like in retrospect, to make it even safer, I could have cropped in just one of the, like, the left side of the south tower. And then it would have been like, unless you're really paying attention, you wouldn't know. Not immediately. So I immediately asked if Pearl Harbor was okay, but I think that one might also be out of bounds. But think about how hilarious it would be to go live for our stream car post race. If I'm lucky enough to make it next week. I hate Charlotte. I hate Charlotte with a passion. I think it's way too tight in NASCAR 25. It's all right in the Xfinity series, because Dr. Derp and I raced that. It was really fun. But in the Cup car, 13 PSI, left sides, right sides, and 45 wedge, the lowest you can go, the car's still too tight. I don't get it. Kyle Bushtalkie says he's heading to Wilkesboro tomorrow. That's awesome. Are you going to be posting any videos or anything to your channel? That is awesome. Michael's dad is having some issues. Went to urgent care this morning. Hopefully, he's able to get some relief. That's rough, Michael. Hoping the best for your dad. You'll try to if your camera doesn't die. That's understandable. Seems like batteries don't last very long when you need them to. So though I'm keeping an eye on the radar, we're still clear. It looks like this blob might miss, but it's very scattered showers, so it's going to be hit or miss whether or not it rains. You can see it's just a meandering summertime shower, and typically in the summer you get a lot of spawned, like, just pop-up showers. They just spawn in wherever they want. And the hotter it gets, the more showers will spawn in. So I won't be too surprised if we get some rain. But honestly, like, this track is going to be difficult to drive either way. Hot track, cold track, whatever. But a little shade might provide some grip and open up a few extra, or, you know, a lane and a half extra maybe. Christian says all Grant Enfinger has to do these next 3 weeks is finish and he'll be in the chase. That's awesome. I like Grant Enfinger. One of the last two members of this current iteration of the Alabama gang that I know of is Bubba Wallace and Grant Enfinger. Bad stretch at Talladega, the Alabama gang super stretch, whatever they call it. Yeah, it may miss. It may. This radar we use, this National Weather Service radar, it's not the most accurate. It uses a composite to see everything at once. That's not how radars work. So this is one that's stitched together out of a bunch of local radars. So it could be off by a little bit. It could be closer to the track. It could be further away. Hurricane up front. Speaking of hurricane, down here off the coast of Florida, we have a tropical disturbance forming. You see that rotation? This is coming left. This is moving to the right, counterclockwise. They were thinking it was just going to break apart and it wasn't going to do anything, but apparently it's really intensified, so it's going to dump a lot of rain, bring a little wind. Probably nothing too serious, maybe a little flash flooding. That's interesting, seeing that rotation. I don't know if these are severe warned or... Oh, that one just got taken down off, I guess. Did it get posted? It just got posted. Let's pause there in the 20th loop. Now let's get our leaderboard pulled back up. Justin Haley starting in 13th. About the best we've seen a Ram qualify all season. It looks to be a tropical depression. I'm not sure if they've ruled it a depression yet. The last terminology I heard was just a disturbance. But I haven't heard anything since yesterday, so it may be. Gulf low could become tropical depression near Florida. That was 3 days ago when that was posted. Invest 91L declared in Florida. Has a low chance of development as it moves north and northwest. From impacts all the way to New Orleans to Tampa, apparently. If the system develops into a tropical storm, it will be given the name Bertha. Kind of a shame it's not developing into something big. Bertha's like a, you know, you think big back when you hear the name Bertha. Sorry if anyone here is named Bertha. Invest 91L sounds like some kind of a tax form. You can like invest in your retirement and get money taken off of your taxes. I did not sleep last night. I'm so wired after those stream car races because it's just raw focus for like, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. And then the post race, and then I usually do something questionable in the post race, and then I just have to sit and think about it. And then I got on Black Ops and played that for several hours. And then I got off of Black Ops, and then I went and sat down for like 30 minutes, and I got back on Black Ops and did it a few times. So I'm a little tired. Name it Hurricane Hocevar. We need one. Yeah. I'll focus eventually. Don't worry about me. There we go. See, I have my Hocevar hat. That's rough news, Michael. Cancer's a terrible thing. I don't know if there's many or any families out there that haven't been impacted by cancer. It's an awful thing. I hate to hear that, Michael. All right, green flag. Woo! Hocevar up the track on lap 1. To the lead. Lane might ship him here. I honestly thought he might dump him on lap 1. Lane Riggs going back to the inside. Crossing him over for the lead. And Lane Riggs is going to run him up the track. We are 3 wide for the lead. Corey Himes out here in the 5. Hocevar up top. Lane Riggs middle. And Corey Himes down low. All right. Hocevar back to the lead. Bushdog is rooting for Carson. 45. I have something similar going on in my family, Michael. And it's just happening to younger and younger people. I've heard some news stories about that. Young people getting really aggressive forms of cancer. Not good. Hocevar went really hard there on the first lap. I don't know how his tires are going to hold on. These trucks have ran here before, so a lot of these drivers will be somewhat familiar with the track. And obviously, Chase Elliott's been here before. Chase battling Caden Honeycutt, trying to hold on to 5th position. Chase is already going up, kind of running a second groove right now. There are a lot of tracks where the bottom line will be faster on fresh tires, but as the tires wear, that higher side becomes the preferred. And I'm wondering if we'll see something similar here. Lane Riggs got really close to Hocevar there. They are running inches apart at times, if not less. Hocevar still leading, but Lane Riggs is on the prowl, running that bottom line really well. If he had the whole track to work with, I think he could take this. Elliott and Honeycutt still side by side. Long race, and even though they, semi-recently repaved Wilkesboro, from what I've heard, it's still a tire grinder. Honeycutt will win, but you're rooting for Carson? Caden Honeycutt will win. That's a bold prediction. He did get around Chase Elliott. We'll see if he can move up through the pack. Carson just holding on right now. Possibly just on merit of track position. Riggs early looked really good. Able to run that bottom really well. Part of the reason why at some tracks I don't like running side by side, whether it's AI, whether it's real people, is because I know side by side, even if you're able to stay side by side, you can hold them off on lap time. You're in danger of, on any lap, you can overdrive the corner, you can get loose, and you can end that person's day. But also, you're slowing each other down. The car on the high side can't dime in the corner if they wanted to. The car on the inside can't run up to the outside wall on corner exit. Chase Elliott falling back again, losing a spot to Chandler Smith. And we have a car around. First caution of the day. That's the 4 truck. Donovan Strauss. I believe that this is his first start. Yeah, they just said it on the broadcast. Michael just said Casey Klein's also making his first start. So we have some debuts here. Christian said Honeycutt did win both Cars Tours races last night, sadly. But in the super late model race, Heim was coming in a hurry. If there was one more lap, it would have been Heim time. Interesting. What should you add to your better NASCAR 26 soundtrack? Everyone's going to have different takes on this. You're never going to make anyone or everyone happy with the NASCAR 26 soundtrack. You just can't. There's always going to be people complaining. Personally, I don't like modern country music. Now, if you go back to at the latest early 2000s, but really like 90s, 80s, then maybe I could find some good stuff. Even older, you can find some good stuff that I would maybe like. But I'm just not mostly a country guy. And there's a lot of country music on these soundtracks. Not a huge fan of that. I think racing games should primarily be rock. EA used to do that really well with the Madden games. They used to do it really well with the NASCAR games. But the problem you run into is the more notable songs you get, the more expensive it'll be. But just for your soundtrack, Drive-In Wheel was in a NASCAR game. Maybe NASCAR 05, but Drive-In Wheel is a really good one. They brought back a lot of songs from old soundtracks last year. That's a good one. It's somewhat driving themed. Anything by Rush, like Tom Sawyer's nice. DD12 is about 20 seconds behind today on the FS1 stream. Not bad. Not bad. Still probably, I didn't switch away from the... Or did my dog do that? I don't remember. I don't remember doing that. Let's look back at the radar. I need to pull it up on my end. Yeah, it looks like that storm's somewhat dissipating. There's more behind it. But I'm not too worried about it right now. Yeah, I just think you want something that's like aggressive, a driving, upbeat tempo. There are songs that are good, but they wouldn't necessarily fit a racing game. And that's what I think a lot of people miss. They're like, oh, why don't we have so-and-so? Why don't we have this song? And it's like, is that really going to get you hyped up to race a, awesome stock car? Slayer? Yeah, I mean, you could go heavy metal. Just have Mick Gordon do the soundtrack. He did the Doom soundtracks. So let's look at our best laps. So it's a general theme that you'll see the people at the front of the pack with the fastest laps, especially on a short track. You'll see this on road courses as well, until they get strung out. Because the further back in the pack you are, the more constricted you are by the cars around you. We saw it last night in the stream car race. I could run consistent, 115s, whatever, high 114s. I'm not sure what our fastest lap was. I never looked at it. We had one S-Class lap last night. Just one. But as soon as I had someone behind me or in front of me, I had to watch out for them as well. And that affected our lap times immediately. And one time affected the whole car. It did a 360 coming out of turn 1. It was pretty awesome, actually. All right, green flag back out. Hocevar back out to the lead. Lane Riggs going to clear off of 2. Slide into second place. Christopher Bell and Corey Heim not going to single file out. Lane Riggs is looking inside of Hocevar there. Hocevar is right up against that wall at times. Riggs still looking really... Well, he was right before I said something. Looking really good along that inside. Lowest Hocevar will go is about that second lane. But Riggs, he'll run pretty much on that 0.5 lane. DD12 International's down. Christian said he hasn't listened to the soundtrack yet, but if it's anything like NASCAR 25 soundtrack, there's going to be like 2 good songs. A lot of people are dissing on Sweet Home Alabama. Like, there's so many better Leonard Skinner songs, but it's like the majority of the NASCAR fan base is in the Southeast. A lot of them in Alabama. And a lot of the people in those surrounding states go to Talladega. And it's a staple at Talladega, always has been. So it makes sense. It makes sense. I didn't pay much attention to the arguments about how good or bad the soundtrack was for NASCAR 26 because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me. I turn off the soundtrack immediately because I'll get, copyright claims on my videos. But, I know how it is growing up with the soundtracks. Those songs become iconic. But again, you'll never please everybody. And the more, generations we have, the younger people won't want to hear the older stuff. And then the older people that still play the game won't want to hear any of the newer stuff. And so, they just got to do the best they can. Yeah, I haven't listened to a single song on NASCAR 25. I've had the soundtrack off since day 1. So Hocevar is still with the lead. Riggs not letting him go. Chase Elliott able to hold 7th. That's where he was when the caution fell. Really close here to Honeycutt, though. Might have an opportunity here. We'll see whose car starts to fade here over the course of this run. No real potential here for strategy. Seems like everyone's just going to pit for 4 tires and fuel more than likely. Hocevar's fast, but Lane Riggs from second place has the fastest lap of the race so far. I need to swap my hat. I had the Hocevar hat on right before we went live, but I thought Larson was in this race. Because I remember him running it last year, maybe? And I believe he won. So I was like, oh, I'll get my Larson hat. So I'd already taken the Hocevar hat off. And I was like, okay, I'll have faith in Chase. I'll see if he can do well. So far, my faith has not been rewarded. Both Honeycutt and Chase are both falling back. Riggs is staying really close with Hocevar. looking inside every now and then. It's just going to be really hard to complete that pass if Hocevar doesn't make a mistake. It's not a momentum track, so it's not like you can just time your dive bomb and slide job it. That's going to be a tough pass. Gary hates Hocevar. Yeah, that's honestly, that factored in a bit. I was like, man, I highly doubt Gary will ever watch anything I do, because just from seeing how he reacted to the post race, I don't think he would like our stuff very much. But I was like, man, Gary doesn't like Carson. I should probably put on a different hat. Michael says he's under an air quality alert. He blames it on the Canadian smoke. That is a factor. The northern states have been having some crazy sunsets because of the wildfires in Canada. That's what happens with improper forest management. You have to do controlled burns. And that's why forestry is such an important profession. Forests aren't supposed to have a bunch of thicket. The trees aren't supposed to have growth all the way to the ground. Controlled burns, you keep the forest floor clear. Now, I understand, you know, Canada's large. There's a lot to control. You would have to have half the population working as foresters. Really just two cars battling right now. Even Bell's falling back. Chase Elliott's still really close here with Honeycutt. Those two probably in a similar battle to our leaders. They're about 2/10 apart. Just pay attention in the last 15 laps of this run. Who's moving and who's shaking. Brennan Finger holding on to the top 10 right now. Let's go ahead and look back through the field real quick while we're in this green flag stretch. SVG back to 17th. Our Rams way back here. Ryan Newman holding everybody up. Frankie Muniz up from 36th up to 33rd. We'll see if we can get some attrition and Frankie move up to his standard about 26th place finish. Nathan Nicholson 2 laps off the pace right now. Even Donovan Strauss, who was our first caution for incident, in 30th. I have no clue what the air quality is here. They're going to commercial break here. Air quality here is 41. How about that? We got some good air here. You know what I'm saying? We got that good air. That clean air. Man, you can't go outside because of the Canadian forest fires. And you're at danger staying inside. Because then everybody's eating and they're getting that parasite. Kristen says he smokes a 70-year-old's lifetime of cigarettes from just going outside and breathing. Yeah, I hear they're recommending those N95 masks again. The ones from that time. I don't know how YouTube feels about talking about that topic anymore. Yeah, so Rusty, the general consensus, I was talking to him a bit after the stream ended in the Discord, and the general consensus was, funny, let's not do it again. So I'm wondering, what's the most offensive thing I can do that's not over the line? I didn't think that was over the line, by the way. I understand why they, may want to back it down. Let's just say I have a lot of ideas. But I just want to be completely honest about Charlotte next week. I am not feeling good about Charlotte. In any of the old games, any of them. Okay, Charlotte's fine. I might be able to contend, or I'm probably going to be able to contend for a top 10. And with a custom setup, I might be able to as well. But with just changing tire pressure and wedge, I can't get the car free enough to make laps in the Cup car. I don't know what we're going to do. Lane Riggs to the lead under commercial break. Looks like maybe lap traffic factored in. I don't know. I'm sure they'll show us a replay here. Lane Riggs to the lead. We'll see what kind of lap Lane Riggs can put together. Yeah, Lane running way higher than he was now. So Lane's running really strong here. Chandler Smith really fast. That last lap we have on here, 16.3 compared to a 16.9. Chase Elliott got back by Caden Honeycutt. May be able to move up here to Corey Heim. 23 laps to get that done. Maybe Chase can climb back into the top 5 here. Dark Side, good to see you. So that's what I was thinking. I was like, out of all the things I've seen in some of these streams, that was risky? Not by my definition. And we usually keep things pretty civil here. Red Infinger still holding on to that top 10. Stuart Friesen running 11. That's good to see. I would think Stuart Friesen would do well here. Canada really needs to get those fires under control. It's hard. Hard to control a fire if you're also dealing with dry conditions or just a lot of wind. One ember can travel just miles, land somewhere, and start another fire. It's a hard thing to do. You know, we saw how out of control it got in Hawaii and in Los Angeles. This, what, a couple years ago now? Palisades. Yeah. That's not the only one, Rusty. There are 2 other series. But the thing is, that's a joint venture. That's more of a... They're trying to promote the NASCAR community as a whole. I understand that. That's why I had a thumbnail that was probably worse than the video we did, or the post race. And I sent it to Clavel first, and he didn't say no, but it also wasn't a resounding approval. So I was like, okay, yeah. Because like, just be, you know, I'm lucky enough to be a part of this. I don't want to represent them poorly. Lane's moving up really well. Now he has some, well, a lot of lap traffic ahead of him. Let's be real. But we have some guys that are running the high line. So Lane's going to have to really make quick work of these guys. He's stuck on the inside again. That's opening the door for Hocevar. Hocevar's cut 3/10. So that's 16 trucks like me. It's like, okay, just go by, man. I hate running door to door with somebody when I'm on that roof cam. Really at all. Darkside's air quality is 190. They're just saying my air quality is 41. Lou, good to see you. Good to see you. I have some radio ads about a divorce lawyer that helps guys through divorce settlements. And he's like, Lou's like you. He's divorced too. Is that you, Lou? Are you a lawyer? Final lap of the stage. Lane Riggs stuck in traffic here. Not really going to matter. Hocevar's not close enough. Woo-hoo! 76 loose in front of our leader. All right, Riggs going to take stage one. That's pretty fun, stage one. That's pretty fun. Seems like Lane might be taking Noah's ride. That'd be really cool. Like, I would hate it for Noah. You know, I'm not like the, you know, biggest Gregson fan. I thought it was funny when he kept vomiting in his helmet after every Xfinity race. But he really just hasn't made anything of himself in the Cup Series. And I'm not sure if that 4 car is decent. We don't know. We've never really seen it run well. But SHR was falling apart when he moved into that ride. And then FRM largely hasn't been a competitor. But Zane Smith has looked good. Todd Gilliland has looked good at times. We haven't really seen anything from Gregson. So he probably should be a bit worried about his ride. But he has a relationship with Bass Pro Shops. He has a big fan base somehow. And that may equate to a ride with Richard Childress. Maybe. And maybe his home is just in the O'Reilly series. I don't know. Like Daniel Hemrick, maybe he just needs some more time in the oven. That's crazy. Hemrick used to be a Cup driver. He said on Sirius there's a possibility of him having a ride in 27 Cup Series. Lou says he doesn't know what his air quality is, but it's hot out. That's understandable. That is understandable. Lou likes Zane Smith. There are a lot of Zane Smith fans. I didn't really start paying attention to him much until last year. And then this year, he's just taken another step. And it's interesting because it's a down year for Ford. And Zane Smith is running the best he ever has. So I think that speaks volumes about the potential that Zane might have. And I think we always expected this. He was impressive in trucks. He was a very highly talked about candidate for, you know, to progress to the Cup Series. And Michael Waltrip loved him. And I don't know what it is about Michael, but he can spot talent. He latched on to Zane Smith immediately. He latched on to Carson Hocevar immediately. I don't know. Maybe Michael should be a talent scout. I did see Richard finish 10th. I don't know how many cars were in the race, but I did see that he finished well. It was cool seeing him out there on the grid next to his car. Julian Moore says Logano or Hocevar. Interesting pick there. Or interesting picks. All right, our leaders coming down pit road. Chase Elliott was able to get that 5th position, by the way. We said he'd probably get by Corey Heim, and he did at some point. We were just watching that battle for the lead. Should be 4 tires and fuel for all of our competitors. 123 laps is our fuel estimate, so we should not need any green flag stops. 24 Crown Vics, not bad. I'm wondering if they cheated him up, you know? Now, Richard was a driver, and honestly, the Crown Vic is probably more similar to the cars he drove than, you know, any other race car out there. So maybe he just had that muscle memory. They'll have a NOS bottle. I saw they had some NOS in their Talladega videos. That was really cool when they had the RFK guys on track with them at Talladega. I think it was Talladega. Was that Talladega or Daytona? It was one of them. I need to go check my eye real quick. It feels like I have a eyelash or something in my eye, but I don't know what it is. Every Crown Vic race Cletus does, he believes they put a 10-pound bottle of NOS in every car. That's interesting. Definitely gotta pick when to use it. I would probably use it if I missed a corner to recover and get out of the corner. That's when I would use the NOS. That's usually what I did in the Need for Speed video games. I would save my NOS in case I needed it to run to the finish. But if I ever crashed or messed up, I would just hit that NOS. Just to, like, hopefully mitigate that loss a bit. Jake Garcia currently ruled our leader. I highly doubt this will stand. And if it is not a great call. What are the odds Jake Garcia is actually the leader and he gambled on 2 tires? I remember when Cletus did a race at Bristol. It was probably 2 or 3 months after a spring race. I think they did it over the summer. And they had like comedy people there. They had like musicians there to like entertain the crowd. And it was a pretty good showing from what I remember. I did not attend. I was there for, I think, the spring race, and I saw them advertising for it. Want to do your stints? Dude, I am not good at road courses. I had a really good time last night. We should have finished 5th, but honestly, I probably would have at some point saw Connor behind me or whoever and just let him back by. I knew Connor, he wrecked a few times, so his car was damaged, and therefore he was struggling a bit. But I knew he had more potential than we did. And like, even if I know like I'm fast enough to, like, let's say I'm you know, like the first stage of last night's race. We started in 8th. And then I dropped back to 10th place, letting people go. And then we worked our way back up to 7th. So, like, I knew we had speed to run up there. But on that next restart, I let all those people go again. Ran back up to 7th. I just don't want to run side by side and ruin someone's day. Because I know, like, even though I can usually run about this pace, I'm not very consistent. And eventually I will mess up. And I don't want to slow someone else's progress down. I'll be in a Corvette. Oh, no. I'm still not decent. Especially on Forza, I guess. I don't have any lap times in Forza. If it was Gran Turismo, I might consider. Curb Shocker says he's sitting in turn 1. That's awesome. So Jake Garcia did stay out. So Lane Riggs and Carson Hocevar are side by side again. Chase Elliott right behind them, pressuring Hocevar. Three-car battle for second. These guys are all over each other. Three wide further back in the pack. Good experience for SVG. He needs to run well tomorrow to hold that position in the chase. I don't... Yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty impressive. I'm not sure how much speed he actually has, though. Or if the second place guys are just holding each other up. We have a 4-car battle here for second. Someone might have to show another car of the bumper. Carson, little slide job there on Riggs. Chase is just peeking his nose. Chandler Smith really impressive on the inside here. Making it work. And that's going to bring Christian Eckes into the conversation. These guys side by side are just holding each other up. It's not working out well. Maybe. 123 laps is our fuel number. And we're probably running, what, 65? Around 65 green flag laps? Maybe a bit less. Should have stopped touching my eye, but it's bothering me. Woo! 14 up the track there. It's a mini Tyrell. All right, Caden Honeycutt reporting temp issues. We'll see if that becomes an issue or if that settles down. Who I think will win all the races? Today, it seems up in the air still. Carson Hocevar and Lane Riggs are going back and forth. Chandler Smith looks pretty fast. Running that inside lane really well. Hocevar is running down Jake Garcia here. It's hard to say. And I don't know if they'll work on Chase's car a bit more. Maybe they can dial that in. Corey Himes never out of the picture either. And if he's running, there's a chance he'll win. And then tomorrow, I'm not that sure. There's not really another track that's a good 1-to-1 for North Wilkesboro on the schedule. Like, it's not as tight as Martinsville. It's not as banked as Bristol. It's a lot shorter than Phoenix or Richmond. So I don't know. You're in Pennsylvania and it's storming badly. That's what Julian says. We have a lot of people from Pennsylvania. A lot of people. Thing is, when rain does become a factor, does the rain turn this race into Bowman Gray 2.0? I don't know if they have rain tires for the trucks. At least, I don't know if they have them at the track. I'll pull up the radar real quick. Radar is looking better than it was earlier. There's still some spotty showers. But for now, we're looking pretty good. How many people from Pennsylvania are here? You don't have to say it. I know some of you guys, but my goodness. It's like the whole state's tuning in. Dude, that's crazy how close Wilkesboro is to Bristol. Not close, like, compared to the roads, because you're not bird's eye flying. Probably. Is there another highway that would connect? Can't tell on this map. That's not bad. Man. I could drive to North Wilkesboro one day. That's awesome, Julian. Look at that. Here's Bristol. And that's Wilkesboro. That's not insanely far. All right, Hocevar back out front. Chandler Smith second. Jake Garcia and Riggs still going at it. Riggs trying to complete the pass here. Really good strategy call so far for Jake Garcia. This was definitely the time to pull it. I don't really know if you're going to have that option in the next stage because it is a lot longer. But if you're lucky enough to grab a caution, maybe you take the track position early in stage 3, pray for a caution. If the gamble works, you might end up with some good track position. Saw some dark clouds in the distance. Looks like outside turns 3 and 4, there was some dark clouds. I'm an honorary Pennsylvanian. That's awesome. Captain Winters from Band of Brothers. He settled down in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I'm not sure who will win the races, Julian. This is the first points race back at North Wilkesboro. since, what, 95 or 96? Gordon was the winner of that one. I think it was like the Holly Farms 400 or something. Yeah, 96. I've watched that race a few times. I kind of feel like Blaney has... I don't know how their cars are going to do. Like, he's in a Ford, obviously, but Blaney is typically good at the short tracks. The last time we were here... Let's see. Practice results. SVG actually had the fastest lap, host of our second fastest. That was in open qualifying. Heat 2, Bell and Briscoe out front. Heat 1, it was Brad and Alex Bowman. Heat 1 race results. Brad won Heat 1. Bell won Heat 2. And open results, Hocevar won that one. And Bell won the race. Really mixed bag. I'm not sure we're going to see quite this running order tomorrow. Bell can probably be up there. I don't know how Joey's going to run. Joey is a good short track driver. He's just been really off this year. Trackhouse doesn't really quite have the speed they had in the past. So I don't know if Chastain will be up there. Maybe he will be. And Bowman, obviously a down year for that 48 team. And Chevy as a whole. Chase Elliott right behind him. Byron right behind him. Reddick 7th. Could be another Reddick race, honestly. Kyle Busch finished 8th. Notable. Then we have Briscoe, Buescher, Hocevar. I mean, it's a really mixed bag, these results. And that's really our sample size. I'm not sure who is going to take it tomorrow. Who's winning the World Cup? Not us, I'll tell you that. Donovan Strauss and Corey LaJoy are officially together. Things could heat up. Casey Klein, 28th in his debut race. Not bad so far. Right now, Strauss ahead of LaJoy. Maybe Corey can get him again. Caution is out. I heard the cars slow down. That's the 2 around. Looks like there's some damage to the rear and maybe to the left side. Can't tell. Yeah, definitely to the rear. I was just about to look for Newman. Michael said he's going to get the free pass. Yeah, left side, some damage on that 2 truck. Luke Baldwin going around. All right, that's going to rack him and stack him. That really hurts Jake Garcia. He probably wanted this to stay green to the end of the stage. Yeah, 16's close. So 123 laps of fuel. Let's do this math. I need a calculator. in theory, Jake Garcia should have enough to make it to the end of this stage. Yes, the USA did get eliminated. We got our brains smashed in by Belgium. It was very sad. Weather still looks good. Show you guys what I'm looking at. The dark clouds we were seeing in the distance on TV is this cell here, which is kind of wobbling. It honestly got a little closer to the track, but we still look pretty good. If they can just run clean, it looks like we'll get this one in. Have you guys seen Jimothy? The raccoon thing? This is Jimothy. He's a short-spined raccoon. Look at him go. Someone said... someone said that this thing 50 years ago would have become a local cryptid, like Bigfoot. But nowadays, he's just named Jimothy. Look at him go. There's Jimothy as a baby. I would not want to pit here. He could, in theory, make it to the end if he pit here. I think he can make it to the end. It might be close, but I think he can make it. There's another video of Jimothy. He doesn't look real. He's so fat. Show me another video of Jimothy. That's not Jimothy. Whoa. So this is a dog. I've seen this one before. Tilly the Friendly Loaf. How about that thing? I feel bad calling it a thing, but it is something you don't see every day. The issue is if he pits now, he's going to be on 20-lap older tires to start stage 3. And, like, sure, he'll have track position, but if he wants to win the race, he should probably try to stay out. Or he could pit here. He could pit here. Go ahead and take fuel. Take 4 or whatever. And then maybe take no tires. I mean, or take rights. I'm not sure. People that get paid to make these decisions will make this call. They've already gambled, so it's put them in a weird position. We don't have long until the end of the stage, so I think overall it's still a net gain, even if he were to lose 5 spots here on the restart. So I'm gonna look up NASCAR on Fox. So we don't have any replays on this channel or on this account. Let's look up the Craftsman Truck Series. Nothing. Okay, well, we have no replays to show. Let's look back at our radar. Still look good. There's another little green dot closer to the track. Nothing to worry about yet, but this green dot has appeared. That's close. That is close. Yeah, I think some guys might be trying to somewhat flip the stage. Looks like our leaders did. 5 trucks staying out. They're going to try to hold off. Oh, wow. Newman speeding penalty. Got his lap back and then sped on pit road. That throws our whole conversation out of the window. Jake Garcia pit with the leaders. So I think he lost maybe a few more spots there on pit road. Yeah, I think he lost 3 spots on pit road. It's hard to pick against Messi in any conversation. That's like asking like Messi or Joe Burrow, not Messi or Joe Burrow, picking between Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. It's like, well, Joe Burrow's career's not over yet. I don't know. We need time. And Messi's not done either. Hocevar up the track there a bit. Ran Friesen really wide. Hocevar middle 3 wide. Yes, Lane Riggs to the outside. Gio Rogero on the inside. Hocevar is going to give up that spot to Riggs, looks like. And Chase kind of looking up high now. Lane Riggs, really risky decisions. Kind of self-cleared there. That's what I do at the NASCAR games. Thank you to whoever just subbed. I missed that. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can go back and find it. Pietro. Great to have you. That was the name of the Quicksilver guy in the Avengers, and then he got shot. But he came back in a TV show, so it was fine. Everything was fine. Yeah, I'm not really sure, like, you know, now it's the guys that stayed out taking the gamble. Jay Garcia falling back on the restart. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. I guess he fell back a bit more. Where's Jake now? Down to 18th. That was not what Jake wanted to see. Majeski looking good right now. 5 laps to go. They're going to be really behind on track position. So out of our cars that just pit, I guess Chandler Smith is our fastest in second right now. Chandler Smith also just turned our fastest lap of the race. Or no, his fastest lap. I think the fastest total is still Lane Riggs. Hocevar off the pace. Left front flat. He's going to go a few laps down if we don't get a caution here. Looks like Lane Riggs is just going to go one lap down, maybe. He's trying to limp it around the track. So, Hocevar's race is pretty much in serious jeopardy. Maybe the right timed caution, they could come back, but he's dragging that truck around the whole track. That left front is just worn down right now. Well, glad we have this hat on. Hocevar with problems. So who is going to get the free pass? Not Hocevar. Looks like perhaps Brendan Queen will get the free pass. Chandler Smith in a good position here. He will more than likely assume the lead if everything shakes out how it presumably will. The rest of the field pretty shaken up. Lane Riggs stuck in traffic. Yeah, I don't think it ever quite made it up to a hurricane status. Maybe when it was out in the Atlantic it was. I wasn't paying much attention to it until this last week. But the Gulf is typically pretty warm. It's going to spend a lot of time in the Gulf if it takes the track they believe it might. Where it'll curb, hang a left at Tampa and go towards New Orleans. Maybe it picks up a little steam. But at the minimum, you know, we know it's going to drop a lot of rain and a little bit of wind. Hocevar. Invest Hocevar. He's invest 77L. Poor guy. To make him feel better, I'll put my Hocevar hat on briefly. It is a good looking hat. It's gonna be reversed for you guys, but I was about to buy someone else's hat. I forget who it was. Maybe it was a Zane Smith hat, or maybe it was another Brad hat or Busher. I'm not sure who it was. But then I saw this one, and this one won out. I have hats for like a quarter of the field now. All right, a few cars peeling off the pit here. This will be our longest run of the day. I'm not sure if we'll go green to the end. Let's go and check the weather again while we're waiting. Not looking that much different. There is a little pop-up south of the track, but it's pretty far away. And it looks like, I mean, more than likely this would track past as well. But this just shows me that this environment's pretty ripe for pop-up showers. So at any moment, could start coming down. I'm not sure if it is like overcast at the track, but it looks pretty overcast from this overhead camera angle. Doesn't look very bright. Yeah, it's always a tough decision. I usually wear a hat to the track, and then I buy a hat at the track. And then I might buy a die cast. Look at this. A video of this island full of these raccoons. A lot of them. I want to go there and just hang out with these animals. You get a rabies shot first. That's wild. Oh, yeah. Okay, I have the picture of Richard here. Check out Richard next to his Crown Vic. They had the 3 tilted the wrong way. I saw people talking about that. The 3 is supposed to have a forward facing tilt. Ryan Blaney, because he's the goat on drafting tracks? Maybe, but Denny Hamlin. I don't know about the Gen 7 car, but in that Gen 6 era, Denny Hamlin was lethal at Daytona. Half the times I visited that Daytona museum, it was a Denny Hamlin car in the museum. And sadly, I didn't visit the last couple of years when Byron won it. I missed my chance. I thought that was funny. I think it was Hamlin, when he went through the infield, some of the grass landed on the hood, and they kept that there. And they actually had someone come in and water that grass every day to keep it green. Pretty wild. Boop. All right, they're at the choose cone. Chandler Smith going to the outside. I like this call. If he can stay alongside Eckes, he's good. Lou, I think Lou's first message today was 38. 38's looking pretty good right now. All right, green flag is out. And Chandler Smith did get a good start. Chandler Smith clear to the lead. Gio Ruggiero going to try to follow him through here. Eckes kind of holding up that inside line. Bell sideways. I think Chase may have got into him there. Chase middle 3 wide. So Chandler Smith out front. Ruggiero going to try to hang with him. But already 4/10 back. Stewart Friesen clear for third. Eckes finally back up to pace. Really bad start. Riggs once again looks like he may let this race slip away from him. He's going to need to really make up some ground. Woo! Heim running Riggs way up the track. I guess they're both trying to run a higher line. But wow. SVG up to 9th place, side by side with Chase Elliott. Now back down to 10th. They're side by side, trying to hang inside the top 10. SVG has the position now. On the prowl. If he could do half of this tomorrow, it would be a great day for SVG. Why does the front of the trucker hat look brown? Let me go get mine. I think you may need to take a shower. Mine is quite gray. Wait, did you get a different color maybe? Yeah, you may have a different color than I do. Because there are like different color options. Or maybe they just said this guy, he wants a brown one. I also have the black mesh. I think some people got the white mesh. My dad bought one of these, and then King is Dead bought one of these as well. Love a nice mesh hat. Nice and cool. Chandler Smith pulling away. Let me look at the leaderboard. I don't have it pulled up on my end. Oh, yeah. Chandler Smith is cooking very fast. He is our fastest lap of the race right now. Impressive. SVG's moving. SVG in 8th here. He's going to muscle through and move lane a bit. SVG might be able to make the pass for 7th. Wait. Where did he come from? SVG on the move. Now, how is Mr. Hocevar doing? Not great. Guess he went down another lap. Yeah, he went down another lap. So Hocevar, the first car, 2 laps down. If this thing in the picture looks really brown, I'm gonna be confused on so many different levels. I don't know how it doesn't look too brown on my end. I guess I can see that left panel in a certain light can. Like the top left of that picture, I can kind of see it. Have you had it near a dirt track? That's my only guess. That is wild. I don't know if we have the same color. Mine maybe is a little lighter. I'll test it out. I'll go stand out in the sun for the rest of the day. Doing pretty well, Jason. Hope you're doing well today. Ooh, I see who said something about a flash flood watch. Michael says he's been put under a tornado watch as well as a flash flood watch. How about that? Stay safe, Michael. SVG not able to get by Bell. Or not Bell. Not able to get by Riggs. He has put a half second on Bell, though. Chase Elliott holding on to the top 10 for now. How's Chase? 10th right now. He really hasn't had the car under him today. SVG's not letting Lane go. Yeah, Lane's truck fell off too. Great car, and then gave up track position, and I guess just didn't keep up with the track. He's definitely not making laps like his teammate is. Right now, Chandler's not running the fastest laps on track, but I think partially that's to do with lap traffic. But Christian and Stewart are so far back. Without another caution, I mean, it's going to be hard to catch Chandler with all this lap traffic. Hard track to pass that. Lane Riggs really loose there. Trying to look to the inside of Corey Heim. SVG looking to the inside of Landon Lewis. SVG might be looking at the top 5 here. Though we know SVG is really smooth on the tires on road courses, but maybe he's managed well today. Not able to make that pass on the inside. That's going to get harder and harder to do later in the run we go. That's not going to stop SVG from diving down there, though. Chase is going to be wore out this weekend after 4 races. It'll take some stamina for sure. And the Cup race, it'll be the longest one and probably the hottest one. So he will have to hang tough. That's awesome. I didn't know Newman's daughter was racing. This is the little moment to highlight Ryan Newman in his day. Did I know Richard raced last night in a Crown Vic? We just had the picture pulled up, actually. I'll pull that up again. Boop. That's so cool. Pops is still getting it done. That's awesome. Not a bad day. Not a bad day for the 3. Honestly, you know, maybe he should drive the 8 next year. Time for Richard to suit back up. There's no problems with this idea. Let's take a look back at our leaderboard and just run top to bottom. See if we see any surprises. SVG and Lewis still really close. If Landon's able to make ground on Heim, that could bring SVG into it. SVG could maybe knock out 2 and 1. Chandler with clean tracks, still running the fastest laps on track. Chase holding on to the top 10, 3/10 between the two. Caden Honeycutt's kind of moving up here. Oh, Chase getting by Bell. So Chase up to 9th. Maybe Chase's truck is coming around. Cole Butcher here in 16th. Brendan Queen, our highest running Ram truck, 21st. Newman 24th, ahead of the full-timers. Casey Klein in his debut, 29th right now. Lewis forwarding in 19.4. Man, Hocevar is running the fastest laps on track right now. Faster than our leader. But he is so far back, it's not going to make a difference. Well, I don't know how Hocevar cut down the tire, but that potentially cost him the win here today. We'll try to watch his lap times. The later we go, 19.7 there. Still, you know, not too far off the leader. Miss Dale and Kyle so much. What a tough career, really, for Richard. Losing 2 of the greatest NASCAR drivers ever. And 2 of the biggest personalities in the sport at their individual times. That's tough. You think Richard would just sell off the Cup team if he drove one and discover the tractors his drivers had to deal with? Maybe Richard just built different. Goes out there and just wins the championship. Richard needs to sue NASCAR. I guarantee he wins 5 races next year. It's the new method. So SVG looks like he's going to at least pick off this 5th place position. With a caution. Does SVG have anything for them at the front of the pack? Dude, Frankie Muniz is me. He tried to move up the track to let the faster cars go and got into the wall. That's something I would do exactly. Lane's pulling some faster laps here and there. Not enough to close in 6 seconds, almost 7 seconds. But we haven't seen a run quite this long. So people are going to start fighting handling issues they haven't felt today. I think Dale would have drove a truck finally before he retired. It's hard to know. Dale was definitely interested in racing other series. He was really interested in IMSA. He wanted to race at Le Mans. So he definitely could have had a mixed schedule. He was a racer at heart, so I don't know if he ever would have stepped away like fully. Not until he was at least 60. You know, kind of like Tony Stewart. He's just kept racing different kinds of cars. That's probably about what Dale would have done. Did Newman wreck? No. Just not a great day for old Ryan. But compared to, you know, the other full-timers, not bad. You know, just to sit in the truck and rock and roll. He's doing pretty well. Chandler Smith here with a really comfortable lead still. It's going to take a lot for anyone to run him down. But Lane might be able to get up to second. And if he was able to do that, getting a caution, that would bring him right back into it. And we could have teammates battle it out for the win. Potentially. Honestly, if we get a caution here very soon, we might see some cars come down for tires. Yeah, I mean, Newman's just a driver, tough as nails. And he's smart, too. That's wild. He looks like he could be some random mechanic or farmer, and nope. He has a rocket scientist brain. Newman can do it all. Chandler Smith facing a lot of traffic here. It's cut down the lead about a second. The lap cars are so intertwined with the field right now. It's hardly anybody that's has clean track. "43 laps to go." Lane Riggs up to third. SVG might be moving up to fourth here. Less than a second behind Giovanni Ruggiero. This could be SVG's truly best finish on an oval. Our best complete race. Doesn't count as much because he's a cup guy racing in a truck, but it's still impressive nonetheless. Yeah, Dale was really excited to keep trying out the sports car stuff, so it's a shame we never really got to see more of that. Could have been a lot more opportunities for senior and junior to share a car. Would have been awesome to see more Rolex 24s where, you know, senior might start the race, junior gets in next, have another driver. That would have been really cool. And Junior stayed with it for a few years. Rusty says, just hoping all the drivers had fun today. Now, do you mean that every driver? I don't think Donovan Strauss had fun. All right, Lane Riggs up to second. Little over straightaway behind. I think Riggs needs a caution. SVG up to fourth, trending towards third. That's rough, Michael. I hope you guys have decent air filters. A lot of that smoke can get inside. I know some people have taped up their windows to keep the smoke from coming in. Could SVG get a top 10 tomorrow? It's a completely different ball game tomorrow. There'll be a lot more shifting going on. You know, just a completely different car plus a much more competitive field. It's hard to say. It may be, but for the All-Star race in open qualifying or something, SVG was top of the leaderboard, so he can turn a fast lap here on occasion. Seen some good stuff here. A 19.58 there. If these guys, like, we get a late caution and a lot of these guys come down and pit, if SVG stayed out, he might be able to hang on. With a few buffer cars behind him. Riggs not really cutting the gap. Looks like only a caution is going to save the field here from a Chandler Smith win. Really impressive today. Elliott up to 8th as Heim continues to slide. Chase might be able to get by Landon Lewis and Friesen before the end of this. So Chase could potentially be looking at near a top 5. Have to hustle to get by some of these guys. Isn't the O'Reilly race at 7? I don't think O'Reilly's racing this weekend. They come back next weekend, I believe. SVG's doing great. Yeah, it's really impressive. I think this is a really skilled track. This speaks volumes about a driver. Kind of almost in the same tier as Martinsville or Indianapolis Raceway Park. I think those are really skilled tracks where your talent shows. Darlington's another track kind of like that, a little larger though. So it's definitely impressive. And this could mean if we went back to a more traditional style stock car, SVG might be more than a one-trick pony. That's a worrying thought. Christian says he would level 8 caution, but he's happy with a Ford win. Michael Waltrip was waiting to say Malcolm in the middle. So SVG pressuring here for third. If SVG is able to make this pass, SVG might finish second if we run clean. But SVG, that right front's bent in a little. Watch out for a cut tire. Riggs not closing in, and Eckes and Van Gisbergen both losing time to Riggs here. SVG would have to cut a 1.5 seconds to get to Riggs. It's crazy we've stayed green this long. We had caution. We had a caution in stage 1. We had 2 in, or I guess 1 in stage 2. No caution here. This is our longest green flag run of the day. Good night. Chandler Smith is going to lap into the top 15. If this race had just run green the whole time, or like no stages, probably would have lapped into the top 10 already. Lou Man says, pedal to the metal. Well, you came in and you said the 38. And here he is. So I think Lou is a good luck charm. Tyler Rife, another impressive run. Jason said SVG is doing good compared to road courses where he's dominant. That's for sure. I always thought SVG would do really well at Martinsville, because Martinsville is very much like a road course and how the turns are flat and you're really having to nail your marks. But the Gen 7 car just doesn't allow him to take advantage of that, I don't think. Not at Martinsville. Lou says he gets lucky sometimes. So SVG 2 seconds back from Riggs. Eckes not too far behind. That side-by-side battle might have been a bit too much for SVG there. He might actually... I'm not sure if he's held up in lap traffic or what the story is here, but he is way off the pace he was setting earlier. Ten laps to go. With Lane Riggs around 9 seconds back. No threat to the lead here. About a half a lap lead right now. Chandler Smith trying to lap Christopher Bell, our Cup race, or our Cup All-Star race winner. Just last year. Wild. Whenever Chase Elliott's in the race, Chandler Smith is going to turn it up to 10. Something about Chase Elliott on track just lights a fire under Chandler Smith. That's right, Lou. All right. A little bit of clean track, but there's a handful of trucks ahead of Chandler. Just got to bide his time. He can run a full second off the pace and still win this thing. And SVG, who would have guessed? You wouldn't have it stage 1 or stage 2. SVG is probably going to be our highest finishing truck out of the Cup guys. Darian Bell having experience here. Bell, 76 slow. He's going to make it down pit road. NASCAR could have thrown the caution for that. They totally could have. It's good they didn't. They totally could have. 42 smoking as well. 2 laps to go. Just have to make it. 1,000 more feet to go. Whew, 42 is smoking like crazy in front of the leader. White flag is out. Chandler Smith not going to risk it going to the outside of that 42. I wouldn't either. And off of turn 4, Chandler Smith coming to the line will take the win here at North Wilkesboro. Almost lapped Caden Honeycutt there. Lapped all the way up to 12th and could have had 12th. Rusty says he thinks he's going to get a Munisat at Daytona. If they have one, that's a big if. I don't know if they'll have a trailer. Maybe before the truck race, they'll have some tents out. Chandler Smith likes the exposure that having Chase Elliott in the field brings to the Truck Series for sure. When's my next broadcast? There's a chance we go live later today with like a game. We'd probably play Doom. I could run some NASCAR 25, but probably I need to play some Doom at some point. The new DLC. But tomorrow for the Cup race will be our next broadcast, and then after the race, we will have our post-race show. So hope to see you guys back here tomorrow for the Cup race and for our post-race. That should be fun. Congratulations to Chandler Smith. What a race, and congratulations to Front Row, first and second. Swept the Front Row. I think Front Row will easily win a truck championship, whether it's Riggs or Smith. If they hold on to their drivers, if they leave, they'll have to find a suitable replacement. How do you think he affords to keep tearing up that Ryumi truck? Well, especially, he just got divorced, Frankie Muniz. So he may have a little less money in the future. Hopefully he gets good residuals off of his shows. What a race. I thought it was a really good race. It was really clean. Just a couple cautions, nothing major. Hocevar not able to recover from his damaged truck. Kind of a wasted opportunity for Carson. But the turning point of the race really was that stage 2 caution. That was wild. And Jake Garcia breaking things up, holding the field behind him. But that held up Lane Riggs and Hocevar. Hocevar got the raw end of the deal there, and Lane just not able to catch back up to Chandler. But at the end of the race, Chandler had the best truck. Early on, he was passing his way up through the field, but he was stuck in he was stuck in traffic with the rest of the, I guess, top 5, top 10. And it's hard to really show what you have until you're controlling the race. And boy, Chandler put on a show. Christian wishes they would make a Chandler Smith truck diecast. That truck's awesome. Love to do chrome on these cars. Just looks so good. Cars and trucks. DW was a fan of chrome, and he was a fan of flames. And those are two things I can get behind on a stock car. Well, ladies and gents, that'll do it for us for now, but we might be back later. Not sure when, but if my wife's not in there, we'll just probably go live like right after this with Doom. But if I don't see you guys until tomorrow for the Cup race, hope you guys have a good rest of your evening. Michael, good luck with everything that's going on. You know, you have a lot going on right now in your life and with your family. So I'm hoping the best for you guys. And for those of you up a bit further north, good luck with your air quality, those Canadian wildfires. And in Pennsylvania, you know, also just watch out for any tornadoes and flash flood warnings. You guys got a lot going on. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe.